That was a good start. Brave. The dictionary defines this word as meaning ready to face or endure danger or pain, showing courage. Inspirational, relating to the action or power of moving the intellect or emotions. Strong, capable of withstanding force or wear. Solid, firm, tough, and beautiful. Having qualities that delight the senses. Wonderful, excellent. So I've been contemplating the meaning of these words a lot during the past years. Very surprisingly, and debatably in error, they've been applied to me often. But I don't feel particularly brave or strong or inspirational and beautiful. I've had a really ugly year, to tell you the truth, so that just feels shocking to me. But I do aspire to be these things. How do I be these things? Where and how do we find the inspiration to be inspirational? And I have one more definition for you. Survivor. One who carries on and perseveres in the face of pain and trauma. Of course, survivor can also just mean someone who has stayed alive during an event in which others have died. And, well, yeah, that does actually apply to me. But I don't really like the sound of that. You see, what I want to be is more than just a survivor. I want to be a conqueror, one who overcomes, subdues, defeats through moral, physical, mental force. But I'm hearing that survivor word so often that it's become this uninvited soundtrack in my head. And I know you all have this too, like one of those power theme songs that comes on in your head just for you when your adrenaline gets going and the music starts playing. Yeah, so now, unfortunately, I'm getting that survivor song. You know the one. I'm a survivor, I'm going to something, blah, 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 and something, something, something. It's irritating, right? And so I really just want the conqueror song. So I'm alive, so are you, we've all survived something. But what I am currently attempting to survive, specifically, is cancer. And I'm pretty sure the whole survivor song thing tipped you all off to that, right? So 2012 was a really challenging year for me. I was really shocked last May when I was diagnosed with a very difficult type of breast cancer known as triple negative. And it had metastasized into my lymphatic system. It's kind of a rare kind of breast cancer. It's very aggressive. It grows very quickly. It's hard to treat. It doesn't respond to any of the known drugs used to treat hormonal breast cancers. It has a high rate of occurrence. If you go online and you do a search for it, you get a lot of hits that aren't really that encouraging, like breast cancer survival rates not increasing for some, and, well, they mean me. Or, it is possible to survive triple negative. I'm okay, good. Or my personal favorite, triple negative, not necessarily a death sentence. Okay, yeah. So I think that my loved ones back home think that the title of my TEDx talk tonight should be something along the lines of Inspirational Cancer Survivor Goes Hyper in a Strange Country. But the United Arab Emirates is my home, and I love it, and it's not really very strange. And the medical care has been world class. Take my surgeon, for instance, Dr. Huriya Kazim. Now, she is an Emirati national. She's the country's first female surgeon. She's incredibly talented and probably the most inspirational person I've ever met. I love her so much. But I don't know how inspirational I really am, and I'll tell you that people tend to confuse being bald with being inspirational. It happens a lot. So you got Dr. Huriya here, okay, groundbreaking, awesome surgeon, saving lives, and me, bald. It is comparable. I can totally see how people confuse that. The other thing about being bald is everybody will constantly tell you how incredibly beautiful that you are. And I think the sentiment actually translates to, oh my God, you look like total crap, and I'm really just so happy you're alive. And look, you can still stand up. And so, yeah, they're happy to see me. So I do feel the love when I hear that. And even shamelessly, I will admit that if I need a good lift, I'll just go on Facebook and I post a big old bald picture. And everyone, and I mean everyone, is going to hit the like button. And half of them are also going to post something about my incredible beauty. I love Facebook. Every cancer patient should definitely use it. Okay, but I digress. Back to the title. So if you remove the strange part and the inspirational part, you got cancer patient goes hyper. That's probably pretty accurate. After my diagnosis, they went into high gear. There was, well, my biopsy showed a really aggressive, fast-growing cancer. I had a couple of tumors. I needed to get them out. I needed to first achieve the myriad tests that precede a cancer surgery. So there was like mammogram, sonogram, isotope, boat scan, contrasting CAT scan, PET scan, MRI, X-ray, echocardiogram, some other grams I can't really remember right now. And then, oh, of course, more strangers than you ever imagined in your life, feeling up your breasts. Eek! So I camped outside the office door of more than one specialist saying, oh, just in case you have a cancellation, but really just hoping that the sight of my smiling face hour after hour would just be so irritating that they would give me the desired test just to get rid of me. And it was actually a fairly successful strategy. I think the cardiologist still hates me. So I think that during this time, it really did seem like the word strong applied to me. But I think more accurately, we should just say I was in denial. Because then I had the surgery. And when I came to from the anesthesia, and I looked down at the bandages on my chest, it was then that I finally cried. And I cried, and I cried. And then my colorful foreign nurse came over, and she patted me on the shoulder, and she said, oops, I didn't have a mic on then. And she said, don't worry, madam. You will get through this. You white people can be very courageous. So, yeah, I laughed so hard I started choking. My husband was on the floor. It was the best line of the whole experience. And then after surgery, I went on to chemo, and it hit me like a freight train. My world started spiraling out of control. Cancer was a new boss, and my body had betrayed me. And I went from never crying to crying all the time. And I needed inspiration. So first, I want to thank my very patient husband and our two wonderful and yet often exhausting young daughters for being the biggest inspiration in my life. My husband has been so patient. He's been my rock during this ordeal. And my daughters, my little girls, they are my longing and my hope for the future. They are the biggest reason I have to fight this with everything I have. And I simply cannot die. Because if I die, they will never be properly sunscreened again. And they will not go to bed on time, and they will eat large amounts of processed cereal with a lot of sugar in it, and they might have their homework late, and my husband's like, he's a really clever guy, but he seriously still clearly needs me to raise these properly sunscreened children. My other inspiration is the other breast cancer survivors in my life, two groups in particular. One is Abu Dhabi's own breast cancer support group, the Bosom Buddies. Now, they're an amazing group of positive women, and I'm so blessed and grateful to be a member. The other group is a small international online group of women who share the same kind of rare cancer that I do. And I don't know how I found them, but they're amazing. I'm so happy to have them too. And all these women are from diverse cultural and religious backgrounds, but we are bonded through our shared experience. And they lift me up with their resilience and their positive attitudes and their love. And they are the warriors, and they are the conquerors. But it still wasn't enough, and I was floundering. And then I discovered that I could find my solace, that I could direct my mission through not just worrying about myself, but in service to others. And the Bosom Buddies gave me a really worthy venue to direct my energy towards. So I threw myself into the arena of breast cancer awareness and support within the Abu Dhabi community in a very personal way. So you see how noble that last part just sounded? It sounded good, huh? And it's not really, and I think that's part of how people get confused about me being inspirational and everything, and that and the bald thing that I already mentioned. So I think that everybody, during times of crisis, we can be fueled, at least in part, by self-gratification. I like how making a positive change feels. I like being in control of doing something good, even as the rest of my life may be crumbling around me. I think there's also, for all of us, a very strong human conviction to want to ease the suffering of others. And for me personally, this kind of perverse compulsion to want to face what terrifies me and then somehow conquer it that way. Case in point, TEDx Talks tonight. I was so terrified, and I was reaching for okay, I have this really good chemo-grade anti-nausea drugs at home, so I'm like, okay, but I resisted, and I'm not really sure that was a good call. Okay, so one of the first programs that I organized was gentle yoga for breast cancer survivors and patients, because exercise is crucial to our recovery and to our continued remissions, but it can be really daunting to go to a normal class because you might be missing a body part or bald or debilitated, have physical limitations due to surgeries, treatments, perhaps you're wearing an attractive lymphedema garment. Yeah, so you feel like a total freak. So I wanted to create classes where we could feel comfortable, have an instructor who would gear specific exercises towards our needs. And one thing I didn't anticipate was just how comforted and uplifted I would feel by practicing this with other women like myself. So you see a little more self-gratification I got there. Another program that I recently facilitated was to take a very experienced and excellent physiotherapist in Abu Dhabi and bring her to Dubai for some advanced training, and Bosom Buddies funded this effort. So she went and did some specialized training specifically for breast cancer patients, physio for post-mastectomy and lymphedema caused by surgeries and radiation. So I'm really proud to say that the women in Abu Dhabi, we no longer have to drive 2 hours to Dubai, to the hospital there. We can receive this medical care here in Abu Dhabi now. I've also done a little fundraising, which is not really my favorite thing, but I do like giving away money. Now that's a total rush, and you should absolutely try it. As a matter of fact, feel free to approach me at any time and offer me money. And I have a lot of good ideas for how to spend your money. And I'm a graphic designer by profession. I'm currently struggling to redesign the Bosom Buddy logo. And I've done a lot of talks, awareness talks, some interviews online, in print, on radio. And, well, okay, this won't surprise you because of my highly touted beauty and everything, but I've done a little modeling. And, yeah. Last October in Dubai, I modeled in a fashion show, which was organized by the wonderful charity group Solidarity Arabia to benefit some specific projects by the Breast Friends, which is Dubai's support group. So this was really a turning point for me in terms of trying to regain some inner strength and confidence during my chemo treatments. And so when I agreed to do this, it was my understanding that there would be all the models would be survivors. And I thought I had envisioned, this lineup of little old bald ladies just like myself. And when I got there, there's only one other survivor. And she had hair. And the other models, they were mostly professionals, okay? They actually were stunning without the whole cancer Facebook thing. And they were half my age, and I almost backed out. But I didn't. I went out there, and I went out commando, okay? That means that I went out with my great big bald head shining for everybody to see, and there was no pictures of this. Previously, nobody saw it. I wore a hat in the house. I didn't even like my kids and my husband to look at me. But I went out there, and something amazing happened. Was everybody just started cheering and applauding like crazy for me, and it was really so moving. And I was trying hard not to cry, just like certain parts tonight, because your eye makeup runs. And so everybody's cheering, and so I looked to my husband for support, and he won't want me to tell you this, but he's over there going, like boo-hoo, big baby, weepy baby. So I can't look at him, and all my carefully rehearsed poses that I practiced in front of the mirror, they turned into one Angelina Jolie chicken leg after another, so I couldn't think of anything else. It was a terrifying and freaky, humbling experience, but ultimately it was really empowering. And I do these things for me, and I do them for other breast cancer patients because I want them to know that I care and I know how you feel. And you might be a stranger to me, but we have this invisible and compelling bond. And I know how you feel when no one else does, and I care about you. So I started all this stuff during my long 10 months of surgeries and treatments, and the hardest parts are over now. The long blonde hair I had my entire life is now a thing of the past. It's starting to grow back, and my head looks like a fuzzy gray tennis ball, and you're not going to see that tonight. But my energy's returning, and I got eyebrows now. Woo, woo, every girl's dream. Yeah. So am I brave, inspirational, strong, beautiful? No, I don't really think so. But I'll tell you, I am trying my best. And I am really determined because I desperately want all those things that I always took for granted, that you take for granted, that everybody wants. I want to register my children for high school. And I want to dance at their weddings. And I want to hold my grandbabies in my arms. And I want to grow old surrounded by my family. I want to live. So there you have it. In times of crisis, look for your inspiration in not only what gratifies you even as you serve others, but what speaks to your convictions, what soothes you, speaks to your compassion, your passions. Openly express your love and gratitude. Face what terrifies you to conquer it. And okay, tell a lot of bad jokes, even if they're bad, tell them. Take your anti-nausea medication regularly. And in closing, I would like to urge every woman, take charge of your health. Please, please, do a self-breast exam at least once a month. It only takes 5 minutes or less. After the age of 40, do not fail to do your mammogram once a year. And could I please have a show of hands in the audience? How many people here know where to get a quality breast exam and or mammogram in Abu Dhabi? Okay, there's a few hands. That's good. That's good. And how many of you know where IKEA is? Yeah, okay, everyone. That's important. Now I want to tell you, IKEA will not save your life. But a mammogram, it just might. Early detection is the key to survival. Shukran, merci. Thank you.